Congressman Eliot Engel is the latest New York representative to be threatened.
Well, I received a phone call to my Washington office by someone who said he was going to punch me in the face and beat me up.
The NYPD says field testing shows a mysterious white powder sent to Congressman Anthony Weiner is not hazardous. The powder set off a hazmat alert. 9 people had to undergo decontamination at Weiner's office in Kew Gardens, Queens.
Sending something like that to my community office, it goes far beyond political speech. It's something akin to trying to terrorize the people in the office.
At least 10 Democratic lawmakers have reported death threats, harassment, or vandalism over the past week. The FBI and Capitol Police are providing lawmakers with increased protection. Now, Congressman Weiner is expected back in New York this morning. The letter sent to his office had a Sheepshead Bay, Brooklyn postmark with no return address. For now, we're live in Kew Gardens. Lisa Calagrassi, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
By now, you've heard about threats against Democratic Congress members who voted for health care reform, even if you watch Fox News. This led to accusations that overheated conservative rhetoric created an atmosphere enabling these threats. The Republican counterattack, led by my own Representative Eric Cantor, is that his headquarters in Richmond was shot at, and that this is all a political stunt by the Democrats. That incident proved to be a random shot into the air, not targeting Representative Cantor, nor am I aware of any other incident targeting Republicans following the health care reform vote. However, I'm just setting up a backdrop here. It doesn't matter who is right or wrong in this debate, because I want to focus on a curious series of events on the O'Reilly factor. Bill's a Harvard-trained journalist. Now, I'm sure he got that degree more to brag about graduating from Harvard to feed his massive ego than to gain any skills. But still, he's got the training. He brags twice a show he runs the quote-unquote no-spin zone. Fox News is the quote-unquote fair and balanced network. He's a big critic of the rest of the quote-unquote mainstream media because he perceives a liberal bias. You're about to witness Bill adopt the Republicans' view regarding the threats. He's so unconcerned about the issue, he doesn't even devote an entire segment to discuss it with Laura Ingraham. Fine. However, in the same show, and in a show the day before, he blows a lot of smoke fretting about the safety of Ann Coulter in Canada because college students are upset at her hate speech coming to their campus. How is the protest of a few hundred college students with no reported threats of violence more dangerous than the thousands of Tea Party protesters who have spit on opponents, hurled racial slurs, and thrown bricks through windows reading, quote-unquote, extremism in defense of liberty is no vice?
Eric Cantor, he's a Republican congressman from Virginia, says that somebody shot at his office in Virginia. This going along with some Democratic congresspeople who said they were called racial names and spat upon when they walked into the Capitol to vote Sunday night. What do you make of all of this vicious stuff, Laura?
Well, remember, Cantor only came out after Congressman Van Hollen and Clyburn and others basically accused the Republicans of stoking the flames of basically domestic terrorism, violence, incendiary rhetoric. So he came out and said, look, not only am I threatened, I was shot at on Monday, but he didn't want to bring it up because he doesn't want to encourage other people. And Bill, you and I are both in the public domain. I mean, we are out there, fighting it out. So, we're subject to horrible, awful emails and threats, and I don't talk about them, and what's the point of talking about them? We're playing in the big leagues, and so a lot of nuts are going to come after you. But my question is this. Why only 3 days after this health care victory for the Democrats, are they so desperate to change the subject to, this incendiary rhetoric?
Yeah,
and this
I
is
think
just
they
awful.
want to diminish the opposition. But, Fox News got a hold of a memo from Terrence Grenier, the Sergeant of Arms in Congress, okay? And the memo says, we haven't seen any uptick of threats here in Congress. That's comforting to me. I'm not playing a gotcha game. Personal story segment tonight. Ann Coulter was supposed to speak last night at the University of Ottawa up in Canada, but she was shut down by left-wing protesters.
Get Ann Coulter off our campus! Get Ann Coulter off our campus!
You're trying to intimidate me, you black guy!
Hate speech canceled! Hate speech canceled!
Speech on our campus! No more hate speech on our campus!
No more hate speech on our campus!
what the Constitution is.
Answer me that.
That's a no. That's a no.
Please answer me that.
All right, quite a commotion. And even before Ms. Coulter's speech, one of the vice presidents at the school wrote her a letter telling her that she could be prosecuted in Canada if she said anything hateful. That set the tone. Joining us now from Toronto, Susan G. Cole, a columnist for Now magazine. So I understand that you supported the demonstrators that would not allow Ann to speak. That sounds kind of un-Canadian to me, is it not?
Well, I don't know. I'm just, first of all, she might say that, but you asked me for specific examples, and I'm giving you the
all right, if you say the no-fly list is over the top, which I don't think it is, I just think...
It's not the no-fly list, it's the all Muslims. Anytime you say all or
right, so
generalize,
if she said most Muslims,
you're getting perilously close to hate speech in this country.
I don't know.
That's the difference.
I don't see it as hate speech as much as hyperbole, and I think the students in Canada are mature enough to either accept it or reject it. And I think that
they're welcome to go to see a lecture somewhere else. This is a publicly funded institution. Yeah, most of the institutions that Ann Coulter's visited in America are private institutions.
No, she's spoken on college campuses here.
Public space.
All right. Well, Ms. Cole, we appreciate you putting forth your point of view. As I said, Ann Coulter will be on The Factor tomorrow evening, and it's an interesting situation. Personal story segment tonight. Ann Coulter presently on a speaking tour in Canada, but in Ottawa, her speech was shut down by radical students. But it must have been pretty frightening. Pretty frightening in Iowa when you couldn't even get on the stage. Yeah, Iowa.
No, I was Ottawa, yeah. I was nowhere near the building. I was sitting in a lovely Ottawa club with my bodyguard waiting for them to tell us it was time to come because, you know, they have to get everyone seated. There was a speaker before me, and the cops called my bodyguard and said it's been canceled. And then we found out about the commotion. So among the many crazy things in some of the reports, it wasn't me, my bodyguard, or my people who shut it down. I didn't even know what was going on.
Okay.
I was drinking
now,
coffee
do you
in
ever
a lovely
fear?
Ottawa club.
Do you ever fear for your safety when you do these tours and you know that there are people cranking it up? I mean, when the official of a school puts out a statement like that, you know there's going to be trouble. Do you ever fear for your safety?
Yes, they did. No, but that's because I don't go to college campuses, nor does any conservative speaker go to a college campus without a bodyguard, which is why I think I have a very strong case with the Human Rights Commission here in Canada for the letter that was sent to me by that provost at University of Ottawa informing me that I might be committing a hate speech crime before I'd even set foot in the country. I mean, that was publicized to at least a half a dozen people, and it was immediately after his letter was sent that suddenly the University of Ottawa...
By telling you not to incite, he incited. That's what he